A stray drone crossed into Polish airspace, and overnight, Eastern Europe lit up like a powder keg. The conflict line is no longer about borders. It's about red lines between Russia and NATO. Hey everyone, today I want to break down a geopolitical tension that's got all of Europe on edge: the escalating military standoff between Russia and NATO near the Poland-Belarus border. Recent moves on both sides show that neither is willing to back down, and one wrong move could tip the entire region into full-scale war. It all began with a single drone allegedly entering Polish airspace. NATO responded immediately. Forces from multiple member states quickly gathered in Poland. One major move, activating the Eastern Sentinel Initiative, which allows formal NATO troops to be stationed in Poland, an unprecedented step since the outbreak of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. And Russia? This time, they didn't stay quiet. Kremlin spokesperson Mr. Peskov declared that Russia and NATO were already in a state of war. No bullets have been fired, but that statement alone sent shockwaves through European media. Let me be clear, Russia isn't bluffing. Together with Belarus, it launched a large-scale military exercise just across the border. Missile systems went live. Fire and smoke filled the skies. This isn't your typical defensive drill. It's a very calculated signal to NATO. Zooming out, we're looking at a much bigger issue. Neither side is backing down. NATO continues to expand eastward. Russia feels increasingly cornered. Both sides see the other as a direct threat. And the longer this tension drags on, the more dangerous it becomes to step back without losing strategic face. As reported, NATO has now deployed over 300,000 troops and more than 1,500 tanks in Poland. Poland itself is planning to grow its own army to 300,000 soldiers and over 2,000 tanks, including heavy-duty Abrams tanks purchased from the US. Clearly, NATO isn't just protecting Poland, it's upgrading it into a full-blown forward operating base. Essentially, Poland is becoming the next Ukraine, at least from a strategic standpoint. What's surprising to me is Russia's restraint. Despite being pushed right up to its border, Mr. Putin hasn't sent large ground reinforcements to the Poland-Belarus frontier. Instead, he's sticking to joint drills with Belarus. That's why the drone incident, intentional or not, worked as a clever warning shot. Enough to provoke, but not enough to escalate. Now, here's where history matters: the deep-rooted animosity between Russia and Poland. These two countries have clashed for centuries, through invasions, territorial partitions, and imperial domination. NATO is leveraging that legacy, stoking nationalist sentiment in Polish society, accelerating arms purchases, and turning Poland into the northern wedge of NATO's strategy. From Russia's perspective, NATO is using Poland to escalate the Ukraine war into a broader continental conflict. Think about it. If Ukraine was the soft red line, Poland is the hard red line. If Poland fires the first shot, we may be looking at a full-scale war between Russia and NATO. Mr. Putin has already made his position clear. If Ukraine stops provoking and becomes a neutral state, Russia is ready to halt hostilities. But NATO is going in the opposite direction, forming a Free Russia Corps of over 40,000 troops, training them as a rear force for Ukraine's military. That's not just aid, that's escalation. So what happens if war actually breaks out between Russia and Poland? Under its Mutual Defense Pact, the Collective Security Treaty Organization, CSTO, could back Russia and condemn Poland, creating a clear two-block battlefield. And once that fuse is lit, there may be no turning back. What worries me most is the sense that this whole situation is slipping out of control. Each side feels cornered. Each side is preparing for the worst. And while civilians just want peace, geopolitical decisions are being made with hotter and hotter heads. What do you think? Is NATO overplaying its hand by betting on Poland, or is this the necessary check to contain Russia?